when I was a little kid, I was real nervous because I thought I was going to lose because I didn't know what I was doing. But now, for being honest, I just smoke.
What do you recommend little kids do in their wrestling matches?
I don't recommend any young kids to do any type of drugs, and that you should never do anything that is illegal, and you should always follow the rules along with the law. However, if you are going to engage in these activities, make sure you are responsible while doing so and are around people that you trust. Also, make sure to drink plenty of water.
I think that's a very good thing and a very good experience for kids. A safe environment, indeed, with no racism, pedophilia, or homophobia. We know those things just simply aren't tolerated in the community and don't have happen. Now, speaking of experiences, how has your experience in the virtual ring evolved since you first started in pro wrestling? How has the atmosphere and the environment in pro wrestling changed compared now to then?
Everybody says the community got soft, but like, I don't really think so. I mean, there's still like a bunch of people who still say like crazy shit, but I feel like maybe I don't know. I'd say the way egos have definitely toned down. Like people definitely have less of an ego nowadays. I don't know though. The atmosphere is always going to be pretty much the same. It's always going to be filled with young kids or young people or sometimes older people too, but it's all pretty much the same. It just depends, like, I don't know, the time. Like everything was different, not just Roblox or even Pro Wrestling, but like everything was different 10 years ago, you know? Everything was different 5 years ago.
Speaking of 5 years ago, you talked about how when you were a kid, one of the that happened when you were first going into the ring, you were very nervous. Can you walk us through your first match and what that experience? If you remember, one of the first few.
All right, I do remember my first match, but it's only because of what happened during it. So I was fighting, I think it was DeMarco. I couldn't tell you exactly who I was fighting, but how it went was I was actually winning, and then they started admin abusing me. Like they started freezing me and stuff, and like because nobody cared at the time. They were all like little kids and just trying to get a win, and like you know how it was. Maybe you don't, but you know what I mean. They were just trying to get a win anyway. And I remember I got real mad, and then they banned me. So yeah, that was my first.
That's certainly a memorable moment. Elaborate on other particular moments that were really special to your career.
Definitely the Outbreak title. When I won it in RCW, winning the VPW and BPW championship was cool. Winning APRW tag, being final APRW tag with Matt was really nice. Being final RCW tag with AJ, and RWA title and RWA tag with Matt. Those were all probably my biggest accomplishments. Yeah. Believe it or not, EWE was a fed over 8 years ago. It ended for a little while, but that's where I started, was EWE with people like DeMarco and DPV and Rose, of course, and people like Unstable Ken before he ever got, famous. And I'm not going to lie, back in the day, I was pretty trash, but that's how I got my start. My first big break was probably when I won the Outbreak title at RCW in 2016. Damn, I'm old. What the fuck?
Such a long career and having so many accomplishments. How do you stay up to date in the fold within? A lot of people not necessarily fall out of the fold, but kind of shy away within their within such a long time span. How do you stay up to date with the latest news and how do you?
I don't.
How do you stay on top of the fold? How do you keep your name out there? How do you keep Kaden Jersey as the number one wrestler?
I mean, number one isn't really what I'm trying to do. I'm still probably somehow number one, if not Vegas might be, because he's more active than I am. But I don't know. I think it's just a lot. People are really not that good anymore. Maybe it's because I'm as good as I am now. But definitely because I cheat. I use these scripts that help me win in matches. So
What do you consider to be, other than cheating, your biggest strength as a Roblox wrestler?
My patience.
Can you talk about any challenges you faced in your career and how you overcame them?
Okay, so my earliest challenge in pro wrestling was I didn't have my own computer, right? The one I did have was really bad. The only computer that we had was a family computer that was really just my grandpa's computer that he didn't let anybody on. So I would only really get to like actually wrestle like once a month or once every couple of weeks. And I'd have to like train for like 30 minutes every week or so at like 3 a.m. when he wouldn't be up. I'm not even joking. But yeah, that was probably one of my earliest challenges, was not having a computer. And I still was like sort of relevant and still won things. I beat some notable people during that time. I beat Eddie, Damon, some names like that. And that's when my name really started to get out there. But one of my biggest challenges too was probably being blackballed and blacklisted from a lot of feds, which, you know, definitely is my own fault. But I think the way I got through it was just keeping, I guess, just trying to prove I could change, you know, or was a better person. And eventually my opportunities came, and obviously I did what I did. So
to end this video, would you want to give some advice to people who look up to you? One of them being right now, literally on Twitter, Exotic Luke, saying that you were one of his favorite Raw wrestlers growing up in the community. What advice would you give to aspiring Raw wrestlers looking to make a name for themselves in the virtual world, trying to be like you?
Don't look up to people. But if I had to give one message, don't look up to Exotic Luke or whatever name you just said. Don't be like him. Don't be Exotic Luke.